Hello and welcome to our Culture magazine on I-24 News, where we bring you the latest news in the world of entertainment and art. We have a great show for you today. Israeli singer Bezalel Raviv, who became a phenomenon in Tunisia, will be in the studio. And we'll hear about Egypt's first Oscar entry as part of our Middle Eastern Cultural Press Review. But first, some of today's headlines. Ellen DeGeneres Show will be the first American talk show to be shown in China. Warner Brothers, who produced the show, have made a deal with Chinese Suhu Video, who will stream the show on their online video platform, subtitled in Chinese 48 hours after its airing in the US. Sohu Video already airs many American dramas and comedies and recently started offering Saturday Night Live. DeGeneres is set to gain more worldwide exposure as host of the Oscars on March 3rd. Ellen recently talked about her airing in China on her show.
Ni hao, y'all. It's basically the same show, but it'll have subtitles, and it will be called the Happy Lady Dance Hour. Over 1 billion people are in China, so to all my new viewers, don't forget to visit the Ellen shop online.
Director Quentin Tarantino said yesterday that he is shelving plans to direct The Hateful Eight after the film's confidential script leaked out. Tarantino told Deadline.com that he is very depressed after realizing his script for the ensemble Western started circulating around Hollywood. The director said he had only given the script to a few actors, among them Bruce Dern, Tim Roth, and Michael Madsen, and it was probably leaked out by one of their representatives. Tarantino said he especially suspects the agency representing Bruce Dern, CAA, but he added that he loves Dern and will probably write him a big role in the film he'll do instead. Tarantino also told Deadline he intends to publish the script and will consider making it into a movie after all sometime in the future. Brokeback Mountain, the bold story of a love affair between two cowboys in 1960s conservative Wyoming, will get an opera adaptation in Madrid. The opera's libretto has been written by E. Annie Proulx, author of the 1997 short story, and the music will be written by American composer Charles Wernin. The book was adapted to an Oscar-winning film directed by Ang Lee and starring the late Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal. The opera's director, Ivo van Hove, said it will not be an adaptation of a movie on stage and that the women's roles in the story will be explored more this time. The two-act opera will run from January 28th until February 11th if you happen to be in Madrid. The Sundance Institute, along with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, announced on Tuesday a new project that hopes to use independent film to create a global conversation about hunger and poverty. The Sundance Institute Short Film Challenge will support the production of both documentary and narrative films. It already released a global open call for 3 to 8 minute submissions that will present imaginative solutions that are being implemented to overcome deprivation and famine. 5 winners will receive a $10,000 grant and get to screen their creation during next year's festival. Submissions are accepted through July 1st, so go ahead. Israeli artist Bezalel Raviv released his single Tunisia in 2009 before the Jasmine Revolution erupted in Tunisia. When it broke out soon after, the song was embraced as one of the anthems of the revolution. Michal Divon has this portrait of this unique cross-borders success.
Bezalel Raviv could not predict that his music would make him the first Israeli singer to be officially invited to Tunisia. His single, Tunisia, which speaks about the struggle for freedom, became a great success in the Muslim country and the Arab world, revealing the complex identity of an Israeli gay Jewish singer in a Middle East setting. Through his music, Raviv was able to overcome the political and religious differences that define the region, and unintentionally, perhaps, spark something that has almost been forgotten by Muslim and Jews of the Middle East, their joint identity. Bezalel Raviv was born and raised in Tiberias to Tunisian immigrants. During his childhood, Raviv was ashamed of his Tunisian heritage and felt unable to express his full identity in the religious setting where he grew up. He taught himself English at an early age and later continued by making a career in the US and Europe. It was during his time abroad that Raviv reconnected to his roots and decided to come home and write the song Tunisia.
I still believe.
After the song became a symbol of the Jasmine Revolution, Bezalel launched his next project, New World Order.
NWO, New World Order.
By collaborating with artists from areas of conflict, his new album seeks to stretch political and cultural boundaries and transcend the restrictions of borders and cultural misconceptions.
I need your support.
His crowdfunding campaign has received coverage in Israel, North America, and throughout the Arab world, a tool that has enabled him to reach out to individuals despite their geographical location.
I'm now joined in the studio by Bezalel Raviv. Hi, Bezalel. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
So congratulations on all your success, of course, first of all. But I'm curious, how do you explain this success, the success of Tunisia, of the song in Tunisia?
Well, I think we are in it's not just a saying, but we are in a different era, different, revolution where people see that they can influence. And I was innocently writing a song called Tunisia about my background.
Right, you didn't set out to start something or support something that wasn't even happening yet.
Exactly, it was before the revolution. I was very, very excited. And when the song failed in Israel, I had a funny dream, a very mysterious dream that it would be successful, the song would be successful in Tunisia. Mm-hmm. And I guess I felt something that, was about to come, and it took place, amazingly enough.
And weren't you worried that the fact that you're Israeli, the fact that you're Jewish could stand in your way?
Well, I was afraid, but, that acknowledgement is, it's belonged to an old world that we still live in.
Right.
But I said that I'm going to set my foot back to where my parents left in Tunisia, and I was afraid in the airport with my Israeli blue passport and my visa from Ramallah. But in the end of the day, I felt that the fear was,
no reason for it.
Exactly.
Now, how did you feel the success? I mean, even before getting to Tunisia, which I'd love to hear about, but how did you feel the success? Were people reaching out to you, telling you about it, trying to do something together?
Yeah, all of a sudden I got thousands of friend requests from people who live in Tunisia.
Yeah.
And it kind of, got my attention.
You said something is going on.
Yes, something is going on. I'm not sure what, but I got responses about Tunisians from all around the world who loved the song and supported the music, and obviously it influenced the entire story because the success is not of the song. The success is of the people who brought the song to be what it has become.
Right, I see. And when you got there finally, which wasn't an easy task in and of itself, but when you got there, what were the reactions like? What was your impression?
People were very polite and very respectful, even though they knew my story, even though that they knew I'm from Israel. Obviously, there was a lot of affection from fans who followed the songs and made it to be what it is. Mm-hmm. It felt heartwarming. It felt like coming back into a place that you heard about, but you've never been to.
Right. And for you, this place really does have a more significant meaning. You're from a Tunisian descent, something that played a role also in your childhood, I understand.
Very much so, yeah. I was born in Israel, but I always knew from my parents that in Tunisia, Arabs and Jews did not fight. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was very strange because I saw the news as a child, like every person in Israel, and and it was very devastating for me to see people get hurt,
Right.
Jewish and our people, and
Now, I'm curious, because it's not just the fact that you're Israeli and Jewish. You live your life openly as a gay man. Mm-hmm. Did that come into play at any point in Tunisia?
Well, I could tell you that the Tunisian men are very much like Israelis.
Okay.
They're very open, very candid.
So you're saying it came into play in a good way?
Well, obviously, yeah. It was very good. It was very good, but I have to tell you that I don't use my sexual life as a goal. You know, I'm Israeli, I'm Jewish, I'm gay, but I'm first and foremost a human being, and that's what I wake up with in the morning. That's what I take into the studio to record my music, and I think that people today don't care who I sleep with. I think that it's a very Neanderthal thought to say who you sleep with. Yeah. Well, I haven't slept with anyone for the past 6 months, so
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Well, I know it's hard,
it's sad.
It's heartbreaking, but
I'm sorry to end on such a sad note, but we have to wrap up.
It will get better.
I'm sure it will. Bezalel Raviv, thank you so much, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
In just a bit, we'll get our weekly Middle Eastern press review, but first, here are some cultural highlights from around the world.
The Holocaust Memorial Museum in Paris is holding an exhibition on Jewish ghettos in Poland during World War II. More than 500 photos present daily life in the ghettos of Lodz, Lublin, Krakow, and Warsaw. The horrors of the war were documented by various sources: amateur Jewish photographers, Nazi propaganda, and soldiers' own documentation. The combined collection brings to life the daily struggles and horrors of living in the ghetto. The exhibition runs until September 28th. The 38th Monte Carlo Circus Festival is an international event and competition that focuses on combining the talents of circus artists from around the world. The festival, held in Monaco, features never-before-seen animal acts, the world's fastest magicians, and circus performances from Moscow and China. The winner of the competition will receive the Golden Crown Award from the hands of Monaco's Princess Stephanie. The festival runs until January 26th. Jonathan Hirschfeld is showcasing a solo exhibition at the Raw Art Gallery in Tel Aviv. His exhibition, Form in Magnum, will combine paintings from the past 2 years, some dealing with the artist's recent marriage, using themes such as power struggles within relationships, but also within culture and artistic expression. The exhibition will be accompanied by text and will run until February 15th.
It's now time for our weekly Middle Eastern cultural press review with none other than Tony Grant. Welcome back, Tony.
Hello, thank you. Great to see you.
It's always great to see you as well. I'm not going to ask you how many people you've slept with in the last 6 months. Let's move on.
In a parallel universe, I'll get to that question. But what I do want to say is this. As a journalist, I'm fascinated by the events in Egypt, revolution, evolution of the revolution.
Right.
And it takes us right to our first topic, which is a story which was tracked in Egyptian Chronicles, a great blog, about a film called The Square.
Yes.
Yes, it's the first Egyptian film documentary to be nominated for an Oscar, and it kind of puts a freeze frame on those headlines that we deal with every day and gives some of the background as to what's going on or what's been going on in Egypt.
Right, and as we know, a lot has been going on in Egypt. It looks like a fascinating story. What do we know more about? How does it deal with this?
Well, adding even more to the intrigue on this, in a true Middle Eastern fashion, in a way, this is a Netflix-produced documentary. So it's produced by an American entity, which has not yet seen the light of day in Egypt because of political sensitivities. The filmmaker Jihan Noujaim shows the Muslim Brotherhood and the army back and forth, which we know got to be very violent at times.
Let's take a look at the part of the movie. There it is.
This uprising, the largest demonstrations against President Hosni Mubarak.
ابتدت لما شوية شباب جدعان عشان يحاربوا الظلم والفساد والفقر.
ميدان التحرير!
أنا قابلت مجدي عاشور في الميدان.
great footage.
Yeah, I mean, these are such huge events, and in these times, you know, we see the news, big events happen every day. It's hard to process everything, and I think you need a documentary, really, to put things in their proper context.
Absolutely.
And at the Oscars, they're going to be looking at this, I think, pretty closely.
I'm very curious what they're going to say in Egypt about it when it does air. Let's move on, because we don't have much time.
Right. Well, last night kicked off the Sudan Independent Film Festival, which is kind of a first.
Right.
This is fascinating stuff, too, and it's cinematic. You know, who knew that Khartoum actually used to be known as sort of a big center for African cinema, going back to the 60s, I believe, even before that. Big director Gadala Gubara, who passed away 6 years ago, was kind of, you know, put Sudan on the map in those localized cinematic circles.
All right, Tony, I think we'll, we'll settle for that. Thank you so much.
Check it out. Thank you.
And thank you at home for joining us as well. Be sure to join us tomorrow again.